Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Minecraft Spigot plugin development series. This episode we're going to learn how to use commands. Very useful, very versatile, can be used for a number of things. Really the basic thing you've got to learn before you go into things like events, schedulers, etc. Because those stuff are kind of complicated. This is very simple, shouldn't take you too long to learn, so let's jump right into it. First of all, we're going to have to create a new project. Now you're going to have to get into the habit of making projects. Like, you're just gonna have to remember how to make them. Just keep same spot in your folder. I'm gonna call this commands tutorial. Of course you can call it whatever you want, and feel free to take like these projects which will have barely any code in them really each time and mix them up. Try to make your own thing out of it, because really you're not going to get anywhere from copying my code. I learned that the hard way when I tried to learn things. You're going to want to experiment yourself, like challenge yourself, right? Don't just copy my code each, new episode that comes out, because that's a terrible idea, alright? Okay, we're going to hit finish. I'm opening this window because I have my old project here. Alright, now you're going to have to get into the habit of opening this up, going to SRC, creating a new package, naming it, me. Oh dear, that's my name that I use at places. And yeah, just get into the habit of making that package, creating that new class main. Just get into the habit, then remember from last episode. I know, I'm sorry if I'm going a little too fast. Extends Java plugin. And yet again, there's going to be an error. Right, and we're going to slow down a little bit now. This is all the stuff that you just got to remember to do every single time, as fast as you can, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to project structure, libraries, add the library, Java, and it's going to be our server, Java again. Here we go. Add, okay. We're going to let it do its thing, and we import the class. Right, now we've made our thing. What I like to do is I like to create my plugin.yml as the first thing. So I make this obviously, but before I start any code, just so I don't forget, I create a new file in the SRC folder, plugin.yml, spelled exactly. We're going to have our main. Oh dear, that's wrong. Our main is going to be this. I'm sorry if I'm going fast again, but just got to get this bit down right. If you can, pause it at times just to see. I'm just going to call it commands. Version, it's just going to be 1. Author, it's going to be code for MC. That's all we really need to do. Now there's one new thing, right? Pay attention to this. In our plugin.yml, we have to add. We're going to go down one from the last thing we had, because we, for example, going to have API versions, etc. Right? We're going to go another. I'm going to do commands. You always have to leave this gap here, alright? Now do a colon, then press enter, and you can see IntelliJ will automatically put you indented by 2 spaces. So look, if we do it ourselves, 1, 2, that's where we are, right? And this is where we're going to put all our commands, like all their names. For now, we're not going to do anything, because you want to be able to choose what your command name is. So we're going to go to our main of Java, and here we're going to create a new method, one that's different from last time. It's going to be we're going to still have to add the @override annotation for this, and it's going to be the onCommand method. Now this is a public boolean, and it's going to be command, and take some brackets, and here we're going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to have command sender as a parameter, and we're going to call it just sender, comma, another one, command, and it's CMD. We're going to have a string, so our label, a string array, so our args. Right, make some curly braces, extend them. Now we're going to have to import all of these. So click import, does it for you here, import, does it for you, beautiful. Everything is good. As you can see, there is an error here. We do not have a return statement, as it is a boolean method. We need to add a either true or false return statement. So we're going to add return Right, I know I skipped over that very quickly, but really this is all it is, okay? And I'm going to slow down a lot more. Now, what you see here, these are parameters that we take in from the other code, which is the onCommand class. If I actually click here, you can see the class file for onCommand. You can see all the stuff is here. Very nice and fancy. This is a decompiled class file. IntelliJ has it built in. See, powered by FlowinFlow decompiler. You can't edit any of this. It's just read only. Okay, we're not gonna need that now. Just showing you that the server.jar is basically also another Java project, but it's way more complicated than anything you'll do with plugins, right? You're just making use of it. Okay, now I'm going to go through all of these. The command sender is the person who sent the command. For example, it can be the console. So when I send a command here, so like, I don't know, op someone, whatever, right? That's a command. Just going to deop. Yeah, it cannot open them, okay. You can see that's a command sender, right? And then you can have a player as a command sender. It's also a thing. You can also have, and the command is basically just a bunch of information about the command. It's a variable that shows all the information. So get label, you know, all this stuff right here, right? Permissions, etc. That's just a command. We rarely use that. This label here is the name of the command that you type. For example, I'm just going to break down the command game mode. In the command game mode is the array. Anything that comes after it, so CES, whatever, falls into the args category or your string array, right? Because it's an array, because it can be multiple things. So you can have game mode C and P or whatever, right? So there's multiple things that makes it has to be an array. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a command. In this command, we're not going to make use of this or this, just the sender and the label. It's going to be a very simple command. So first thing to do is make an if statement, seeing if the label, which is the name of the command, remember, is what our command is going to be called. So if, we do some brackets, and inside these brackets we put our condition. So if label dot equals ignore case, just seeing if it equals a string, and we're going to call our command something. So I'm just going to call it hello, no slash by the way, and that's it. And now what we do, we make some curly braces, extend them. You can do it with indents, but I just use curly braces, as does anyone really using Java, because indents now. Right, so next thing we need to do is check whether or not the player is the person that sent this is using the oh dear, that's Minecraft, the console, or they are a player within Minecraft, right? So to do that, all we have to do is type if, in brackets, sender instance of player. I'm going to do some brackets here. I have actually already imported player. You're probably getting an error. Just hover over it, import it, okay? And we're going to make this, make it so that it executes if the sender is not a player. So we're going to add some brackets here to allow that, and put a exclamation mark. Exclamation marks in Java just mean if it's not or not, right? So for example, equals is checking if something equals something. Not equals is checking if something doesn't equal something, alright? So this bit of code here will be executed if the player is, if the sender is using the console, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do send message, you are not a player. Okay, perfect. Now, if it is a player, hold on, first things first actually, we don't want it to execute the code for if it's a player. Now there's two ways of doing this, to my knowledge. You can do else, and then do your code. Or you can do right here inside of here, return true, meaning that it will stop if it's not a player. I like to do else's, simply because they're more visual and you see it better, right? So else, we're gonna get rid of this. I know my keyboard's loud, I'm very sorry. And in else, now what we can do is we can set the sender, command sender variable, we can get a player variable and set it to this, right? So we're going to do the data type, we're going to set it to player, okay, or dot bucket to entity. Then we do player equals sender, right? And there's going to be an error here because the sender variable is in the data type command sender. And what we're trying to set it to is player. So what we have to do here is cast. Usually you wouldn't have to implicitly cast, but that's only if there's no chance of data loss. But right here there is a chance of data loss, right? So we have to cast. Okay. So now what we can do is if we type player dot, there's millions of options for here. Look at all this stuff you can do. Like seriously, look. I mean, you can spend a whole day, like I did when I started. I just spent days just having fun with this, right? There's so many things you can do. Look at all this stuff, right? Now, we're gonna send a message to our player, right? Because we don't want to go too ham. But we're gonna make use of colors. So usually when you get, like, when someone sends a message in chat or something, it's always something like, you know, it's always white. It's really boring. We want to add some flavor. So what you can do is do capital C chat and then capital C color, and you have to spell it the American way, not the British way. Dot, and look at all these chat colors we can use. Right? I think there's more chat colors in 1.16. I'm using 1.8. It doesn't really matter, right? But there's a lot of them. Okay. I like the color blue personally, so I'm just gonna do blue. And now what you have to do is you add this onto your string or whatever. So we're going to create a string. So now this string will be blue. So if I type hello, this string will become blue. Okay, so this string will be blue. So in the chat box, you'll get a little message and it will say hello in the color blue. Now if you want to have multiple colors in your message, all you have to do is you add on again, then you chat color dot, let's say green, add, and then your new string, right? Whatever comes before this one is the chat color. So hello is going to be set to blue. This string here, which is nothing at the moment, is going to be set to green. Now we're going to make use of our first function here from the player variable. What we're going to do is, instead of doing these little two things here, we're going to get the player's name and send it back to them. So we do player dot get name. Boom. And now what it's going to do, it's going to say in blue text, hello, and then in green text, it's going to say my name. You can decide whatever color you want. In fact, you can make it say FU, player.getName, right, because it's your plugin. I don't care. Not my decision. You coded it, not me. I mean, sure, I helped you. It's your plugin, right? That's the beauty of it. Okay, now you can choose any of the things that you want to do, right? There's a lot of things you can set them OP. I mean, I once used this to, I gave a plugin to my friend, like I made that Dream Hunter vs Runner plugin myself because I don't want to pay the Patreon. I made it, then I gave it to my friend and I said put this in your plugin, and he wouldn't opt me. So I added a little command in there which would allow me to opt myself. Quite fun for pranking, right? Very fun. Okay, but there's a lot of things we can do. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say set the game mode. Okay, I'm gonna set the game mode. And if you pay attention here, you can see that it says game mode. So it's telling us that whatever we put in here has to be of the game mode data type, or whatever, right? So usually you can just be safe by going with that first line and going game mode dot, and then you've got your options, right? These are all the game modes, obviously. Now we're just going to set them to creative as a nice little gift, I guess. And yeah, this is most of what we're going to do. I'm just going to be keeping it very simple, as I said. I don't want to make it too complicated, but what I want you to do is I want you to go ham with all these options. See what things, right? See what things you can do. Like, there's a lot of things here. Hint, hint. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm just hinting at that. Ooh, interesting, right? Okay. So, because I want you to be able to learn how to do all this, because there's millions of things you can do with playing. I can't go over it in one video, right? I mean, really, Google's a wonderful place. If you get stuck with any of these methods, just Google it, really. I mean, look, there's so many things you can do, right? I mean, that would be quite fun to do. now we're just going to test this. Now before we forget, we have to go into the plugin.yaml and add our command here. What I'm just going to do, I'm just going to click up here, press enter, so it gives me those 2 spaces that I need. And I called my thingy command hello, and we put another colon here. And that's all, okay? That's all. That is everything. I do not know what I'm doing here, okay? That is everything. Okay, perfect. So this plugin should be working, should perfectly function. And I'm going to go test it out on Minecraft. So remember, project structure, artifacts, add, jar, jar, empty. Just going to drag our thing over here. Going to remove that, we don't want it. And we're going to call it commands. And I'm going to set the location to my server. Now, it'll be, I mean, you can watch my videos like in the way you should, like in first. But if you like jump to one of the later videos, you're going to get really confused, because by that time I'll be like, oh, just build your project into your server. And you know, I won't be showing any of this, because at that point I would have expected you to have remembered how to do it, because it's not that difficult to remember. So now it should be going to my server. There's a lot of stuff here, right? Just ignore this. Hit OK. I'm gonna go to build. Build artifacts. Build. It's gonna wait for it to do its thing. Should take up to like 20 seconds if you have a trash PC. I have a pretty trash PC. This is actually a laptop with like an external keyboard and monitor and all that. Right? It's terrible. But it gets the job done, right? This should take like 10 seconds, hopefully. We can see how long it takes right here, 16 seconds, okay? So now if we go into our server folder, right here, plugins, we can see that our plugin is here, as well as our one from our previous, what do you call it, episode. So now whenever you add a plugin or make changes to a plugin or whatever, and you don't have to stop your server and restart it, all you have to do is reload your server. So you type reload into the box, or in the game you type /reload, and here it is. It has reloaded, and you can see right here it said enabling commands V1. Now where it gets these values from is it here is the name commands and V1. Okay, so now we're going to go into Minecraft and join our server. Now the IP is either localhost when it's a locally hosted server, or 0. I just like localhost because it makes more sense, right? You see, this is connected to my localhost server, not flipping 0. Right, so we're going to join. Yeah, let's test our command. Set the weather to clear. Okay, so now we're going to test our command. If we go /pl, we can see that our plugin is right here. If we go /version commands, because that's what I call it, you can see that I created this version 1 made by CodeForMC. So now we're going to test our plugin, and that should set us creative, and it should send us a nice little message. So we're going to do /hello, because that's what I called it, and it says hello Mother Russia _. As you can see, there's no space there. That's just my bad on the formatting. But I am now in creative. I can just show you that again by going game mode S, and then typing the command again. See, I go into creative. Creeper, please leave me alone. Okay, now we're going to try sending it from the console, because as we remember, our console, here it said, if it's not a player, it's going to send you are not a player to the console. So let's try in the console. Hello. And there we go, it says you are not a player. Well, that is the basics of commands. Thank you for watching. What I want you to do, as I said, go back, scroll through all the options when you play a dot, have fun. Seriously, this can keep you entertained for hours, trust me. And thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next episode.